Hello, my friends. One of the questions that comes up again and again in online presenting, this virtual world of presenting and running team meetings and so on, is how do I use slides? How do I use slides to keep people engaged? How do I use slides to boost my own presence, my own credibility? The good news is there are lots of ways you can do this. I've had fun playing with them myself over the last few months, and I've seen some things which work really, really well. So I'm going to, in this very, very quick, very brief video, take you through some of the things I've seen work best, starting with the easiest, lowest tech version, ending up with the sort of, if you like, the most professional and the most impressive version. So the first thing is this. You don't have to use slides. You can just talk to the lens. You can just engage with people, build rapport, smile and chat and say interesting things. Here we are. We're having a conversation. It's fine. I can get my point across. Many of the greatest communicators in human history didn't use slides. Martin Luther King didn't stand up and say, I have a dream, but before I tell you about my dream, let me just fire up PowerPoint. All right, so you don't have to use slides. But even if you are going to use slides, you can do a little bit of this at the beginning of your presentation or a little bit in and out of the presentation so that you're getting engagement and rapport with people. The second thing you can do is you can use slides that don't take up the entire screen. You can do one of two things. So you can use a virtual background. So in other words, your slide appears behind you, or you can use a picture-in-picture. And this is where the slide appears as a little window just off to the side of you. So people can still see and hear you, but they can also see your slides. If you are going to use slides and you are going to use full screen slides, here's something that's not immediately obvious, which is use more of them. Using lots of slides helps to keep your audience interested and engaged. Why? Because they're always having to guess what's coming next. And it's great presenting technique to keep the audience interested, what's coming next. And you can fill your presentation with lots of phrases like, as you'll see on the next slide, and then click to the next slide. So your audience has to stay engaged. They don't have the option of just fading away and going off and feeding their cat or whatever. So use lots of slides wherever you can. Of course, you don't just have to use words. You can also use pictures. And this can be a great thing to break up the rhythm of an online presentation. So for example, instead of telling everybody about all the obstacles they've got to conquer over the next 3 months, put up a picture of a mountain. Don't even explain it at first. Just say, now this next slide is something that's been on my mind recently. What is this? It's a mountain. This represents the obstacles we've got to overcome. This represents the journey we've got to go on as a team. Use whatever language suits you. That might sound a bit cheesy for some of you, but you get the idea, I hope. Putting up a picture, again, helps to keep the audience engaged, helps to keep them guessing what is going to come next. Even better than pictures, we're getting more and more professional now, even better than pictures is animations. And this is true whether you're using pictures or whether you're using words. I don't mean you have to, go all Tom and Jerry and pay for a cartoonist, but just animate your points, even on a very basic level. If you've got 3 things to say, don't put all 3 things on the slide at the same time. Put up point 1, and then move on to point 2, and then finally move on to point 3. When I talk about presenting a lot, I use the following image. I say presenting is about having a great message, it's about understanding the audience, and it's about you as the presenter. I put them up one after the other. It keeps the audience engaged a little bit more, keeps them coming back to the screen. Even better, we're getting better and better, even better than just animations is drawing some of your own points on a slide. And it's very easy to do this. You can use the whiteboard technology in many forms of many online presenting tools. And you can do this, using an iPad or a tablet or whatever. It's very easy to set up and do. So for instance, if I was talking to a client about the fact there are really 3 important points that keep this triangle of sustainability going. Here's point 1, and then point 2, and then point 3. You see, by drawing it in real time, it's engaging, it's exciting for an audience. They have to follow along. Now, some of you may worry about drawing in real time, so here's a super pro tip for you that will be just as impressive, but is much easier, and that is you can pre-draw a lot of your stuff. So for example, let's say I'm talking to a client about here's where we are today, and here's where we need to be in the future. Where we are today is sad face. Where we need to be is in the future is a happy face. I can pre-draw a lot of that, and I can just fill in the sad face in real time. And I can say, look, this is the journey we need to go on, and draw a little arrow. And then here's the happy face at the end. Now, that's a very simple example, but again, I hope you get the point. By having some stuff pre-drawn and then filling in the gaps as you go, it keeps the presentation moving, makes it much more engaging and exciting than it might otherwise have been, and it's very, very easy to do. You almost can't go wrong. All right, my friends, there's some of the ideas I've seen working best of all online recently. I'm sure there's loads I've missed out, so if you've got any questions, do let me know. And do let me know how you get on. I always love hearing from you, and I hope you enjoy using those skills in the real virtual world.
Here's one final tip I forgot to mention when I was recording the video. Sometimes, for reasons such as presenting something like a webinar, you have to use full screen slides and there's no possibility of the audience seeing you at the same time. So in that case, what you can do is just put a little photograph of yourself, perhaps at the bottom corner of your slides. It helps to humanize the slides and helps to maintain at least a little bit of a connection with the audience and keep them engaged. I hope that tip's useful for you as well. Good luck with everything I've mentioned in this video, and as always, let me know if you have any questions.